Hi, it's Stacy with So Steady,
And Mindy.
and we are bringing you the other quilt top. So today we are going to start the assembly on that quilt top that everyone has challenged me to go ahead and put together. So my mom is going to help me get started today, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like we still have a little bit of echoing. Let's see if I can just turn this down a little bit, and that will help. That should do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's head over to the cutting table where we put together a bunch of the blocks and kind of gotten them into different sections. And then we're going to do some planning today and go from there. So heading over to our block piles, I'm going to just shut this door here. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and put these into piles of 12. And we tried to color code them a little bit with the idea that we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we didn't do rows of yellow, rows of dark blue, rows of pink. So we kind of separated them out by color coding. So we will start by picking one from each. So we're going to end up doing 8 rows of 14 rows of 8.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound good?
Correct.
So if I count this, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I guess we need to put 2 more into each of these piles to get my 14 rows.
Mm-hmm.
My
8
rows of 14. Okay, so let's go ahead and
Stace, we don't have them in the order that we want them yet.
No, I was just thinking that because then when I pick and pull, so I'm going to do 1 of each pile, was kind of my plan. What do you think?
I would leave them the way they are right now because we've got a lot to do before we get there.
Okay, so what we're going to start with is we're going to start by doing some pressing, and then we're going to do some cutting.
Correct.
So what do we do first?
So what we should do is get this with a good press on it before we start cutting it down.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you've got it to the true size that it will be before we start cutting. All right, so we need to move these off of the cutting board.
Okay.
So let's do that. And we have our little rotating cutting board here, which is much easier to use for these small cuts.
Okay.
So I've just given this a good press. And if we lay this down, this is 1 to 6, and then 1 to 6 this way. So if you get this in the corner here, you can see that you just have a little bit of trimming to do on both sides. So what I like to do is take it a little bit over the edge here because I'm also going to want to trim this side, not just this side.
To center the design.
And this is your center. This is your 3-inch mark.
Mm-hmm.
So always use that as your reference point too. And the same with down here, except that takes you into the bottom where you can't cut. So I would say pull it over to the edge here and then trim this side. So let me just show you. And we're not adjusting the ruler here. We're using nothing but your ruler cutting board here.
And I said, do you think it would be possible to stack these and trim them? And she did not think that was a good idea.
No, because you're wanting to do very precise cutting now. And some of these might need a little bit of work. In fact, I know they do. There's some that are going to need some extra creative trimming to get there. Okay, so now we're 6 here, 6 here.
So I'm sure that there's lots of women out there that have done this part.
Yes.
And I would be curious to know, like, are we being as efficient as we can be doing 1 block at a time?
This is why quilting may not be your calling.
Well, I do love efficiency, ladies.
Go ahead.
Okay. So now I have to prove that I know how to cut, guys. Okay. So if I
it is your quilt, Stace.
I know. No, I agree. So you kind of had me lined up over here. So we've got that distance correct. And now I'm cutting it down to the 6, or did you just flip it for me?
I flipped it for you already. So you should see 2 sides that are already trimmed and 2 sides that you need to trim.
Okay. Perfect. So, here we go. Do we have any questions coming through? Any comments? We get to have like role reversal today, guys. Any questions, do you see, Mom?
Let's see. I've never had to do this part
I
before.
know, and I've never had to really do this part.
No, no questions yet.
No. Okay. Anybody liking what they're seeing so far? All right. So we've got block 1 cut. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to try to take what I think would be great to do in my first row of 8. And I'm going to go ahead and cut those down. So if I were to iron this, let's flip over to the ironing board again. If I'm going to go ahead and iron this, is there any trick? Should I be ironing the top? Should I be ironing the back?
At this point, you've already done your back. So I would be ironing the front and trying to get it as flat and straight as you can.
Kind of pulling it out so you can really see the whole block.
Exactly.
In case it kind of got
I don't-
seamed in spots it shouldn't have gotten
Well, and I don't
seamed.
think these were stored, flat. So
True. I would say that nobody would have approved my storage method. Okay, so again, the goal is to get it cut down to 6, correct? 6 is our goal. Okay. So, and we're just going to always work from this one direction. Okay. And keeping that center. I see why you would move this up a little bit. Would you move us back to the cutting table? There's the 6.
How do I do that, Stace?
So you just grab this and you click that person.
Oh, got it.
There it is. All right. So I wish I was going to do some quilting today with everyone, but today is definitely more about getting these ready to go ahead and assemble into the into our overall quilt squares. So what's going to happen is if I trim this down to 6, then technically we're only going to see about 5.5 inches of the block in the end, right?
Correct.
Because we're going to have 1/4 inch seam allowances all the way around. Okay. And alright. So any other ideas on how to be more efficient doing this?
Susan Tapp said what would really make this efficient is if you had a 6-inch square ruler to square these up.
Oh, do you? Do you have the quilt class in the back? Or the Essence of Tradition binder? Yeah, you do.
No, it's not here.
Oh, bummer. Where's the Essence of Tradition binder at?
In bin.
Oh, bummer. Because, yeah, we do have that. We have our crosshair square that's 6 inches. So we could totally use that and just cut down the edges. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you, Susan. I like that. Okay. So number 2 down. So as we lay this out, kind of thinking that coloring. And then maybe this will be our next one. So let's go ahead and flip back over to our ironing board here. There we go. You can kind of lay on it like a real click. Oops, there it is. Okay. So again, just kind of getting this. Oops. Look, this has still got markings on it like we were gonna actually quilt on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't. We just got almost to that point. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this one down. I'm on a hunt for a 6-inch square, guys. What could be used as a 6-inch square right now? And that's because one of the big things that Leonie always speaks of is, accurate.
It says it's hard to hear. It sounds like you're underwater.
Oh, I wonder if this is any better now. The Can you hear me any better now? Tell us how that sounds. It could be that the iron, because it does make some extra steamy noises. Whoopsie daisies, got a little aggressive there. And there we go. All right. And we've got some really exciting things coming up. I'll tell you a little bit about it while we're doing this to keep you excited. We are going to tease you guys with the idea that we have one of our amazing educators out of Australia that has pitched an idea that we're very excited about. She would like to take off to the road because it's summer in Australia right now, and she's going to go ahead and get our Stash Busters and take them on a road trip to different stores along the Australian countryside and kind of take us on a tour of the stores and do different Stash Busters along the way. So we're looking at doing that as a Facebook Live series, and that's with educator Anita Ellis. So stay tuned for more information on that soon. She's going to share some more information about how we might get that going, because of course Australia is, kind of the flip side to not just the seasons, but also to the time zone. So right now it's very, very early in the morning there. So speaking about how that would work, we're looking at the potential of having her pre-tape some of that, and then we would share it with everybody live at a time that's more reasonable for us to enjoy it. But we're excited about that as a potential. And then tomorrow, join us live as Ann Moore is going to share a class series that she's going to be launching, available to all of you, where she kicks off her Flower Power class series. It's 6 different classes. It involves template technique, and it uses the same exact designs, or it's just using the Flower Power template set, and that's a set that she created out of Westerly Tools. But she does 12 different blocks, and she's calling it her Galaxy, her Flower Power Galaxy quilt. It is phenomenal. So she's going to join us live tomorrow and tell us all about that and how we can get signed up for those classes. So we're excited to have her join us for that. And what else do we have going on? We've got Donna McCauley is going to be also launching a class series, and she'll be with us next week to talk to us about her class series. Her next class is actually going to focus on just log cabin designs. So if you haven't jumped into the Essence of Design club, then you now have the opportunity to really focus on the designs that you're most excited about. And so she's going to jump into the log cabin designs and kind of kick that series off that way. And she'll be with us next week to dive into that. Okay, so I've got my next one done. So we've got 4 of our blocks done so far. And what I tried to do when I initially put these into sacks is I tried to put it into sacks of varying coloring. Notice there's kind of a yellow theme happening here. So I'm going to grab a pink one now because we need to have a little pink in our lives. Every girl wants some pink in her life, right? Maybe not every girl, but I've always been a pink fan. Let's see. Oh, apparently we were over here the whole time. We forgot to switch back over to the cutting a minute ago. So now that we're ironing this out, we'll switch back over to the cutting. There we go. And so maybe you can tell them a little bit about where you're at in your quilt right now, Mom.
Yeah, I got it all put together. Now I'm adding, I did 3 6-inch long blocks for the bottom to add length. And then I'm doing the same 3 links out of 3 different colors for each side to make it fit the king size bed. So I've got the bottom done and I just have the 2 sides to get done. And then binding it off.
Excellent. Well, I'm so excited to see how that finishes up. I think we can all agree that she just picked phenomenal colors to kind of put that together. And so I'm excited to see it finished. Whoops. I did the fatal error there. I pulled it before it was totally cut. Okay. And then we're going to square it up on this direction. And I can see the 6. Keeping it straight, guys. Keeping it straight. All right. And this is how I know it's all square because then it fits really nicely into this 6-inch block, right? And all right. Okay. Come on. So we're going to go ahead and cut this down. Really get that. There we go. Okay, so 5 down. I'm going to do 3 more. And then we're going to do just a little bit of piecing together today. And then between now and next week, I'm going to work on finishing my quilt top. Is that a challenge to me that we have to get this quilt top done before next week? What do you think? Think I can do it?
I think you can do anything you put your mind to.
Oh, she's always said that to me, guys. So let's see here. Let me do this color. It's an all blue. And we're going to go over to the ironing board now whenever you're ready. So all of those. So what I am noticing on this one, is that this is a little squiggly here. So I am going to go ahead and try to
Yeah, you do want to fix that
fix that.
because you want to have the backside be as flat as possible for when you're quilting.
Okay. And then now that I fixed that, it's ready to cut. There it is.
Yeah, just automatically comes up.
Okay. So I can't get that 6-inch square idea out of my head. Kind of on a mission now. I think I'm going to go down to the office and find that crosshair square. And all right. There we go. Okay. So I'm wondering how everybody's lives are getting back to it. I will say, it's getting kind of exciting around here because a lot of people I know are starting to get that.
It says mic is muted.
Oh, well, it's not. This is the one that we were kind of working at here. I think people can hear me okay because I could hear that. How about now? If I'm muted, you might have to touch your camera or just touch the image of me on your screen because it could be that maybe when you went into the video, it's not playing the audio yet. So sometimes that happens like in Facebook and stuff. Okay. But I just heard me really loud and clear. So I'm pretty sure everyone can hear me.
Sound is good.
Yeah. Okay. There it is. All right. So it's just that edge every time. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so 2 more. As we lay this out into our row, we can kind of talk about like where we want to see the color. I feel like the yellow coloring and like those color pops need to be spaced out a little bit. And so we have 2 more rows here. So those are my.
What if you took this navy blue one and maybe put it more in there? So you don't have, and I do a different color.
Oh, let's do that down here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, and then we have 2 more to add. So we could do.
How about a darker for this turquoise and yellow end?
Like here.
Uh-huh.
And then, so we're going to pick that to go right down here, the very end. I don't know if everybody can see that, okay?
Now we can.
And then one more. Should we make it a yellow color pop on the end, or should we end with another turquoise?
What color combination do you have the most of?
Probably the lighter turquoise and yellow.
Okay, I do another yellow pop in at this end.
Okay. So maybe this?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
It's got a little bit of everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can kind of lead into it from this end. All right, so we got our 2 blocks left. We know what order we're going to put this series in, which is kind of exciting. One at a time. We'll kind of figure that out. Look at the back. Make sure everything's still cleaned up on that. Let's go ahead and switch over to our ironing board here. Okay, so we've got that. This looks clean, so I'm just going to kind of stretch everything out. And ready to cut. And then this looks really clean, so I don't see anything that looks alarming. So I'll do the same thing here. Make sure everything's ready there. Okay, so let's get back over to this one. And we'll do our last two. And what are some of the essential tools that we're going to be using today as we start piecing this quilt together?
You're going to use the same exact tools that I used when I was piecing the blocks together.
So we're going to do
The 1/4 inch seam guide,
1/4 inch seam guide, 1/4 inch seam gauge, stiletto. So those will be kind of our Westerly Design essentials today. Okay, so do you think that we should, with that being said, go ahead and give one of those away?
Yes.
Should we give away a Westerly Design seam guide, stiletto, and scant 1/4 inch seam gauge as our combo set? So we'll make that our giveaway today for bearing with me as we go through this process. Gotta keep it exciting for everybody, right? And all right. We have my 93-year-old grandmother here. My mom just went down and got her. She's going to spend a couple weeks with us. So we're excited to have some family time after the holidays, and everybody kind of got through that. We've been looking forward to it. And she's not joining us in the room today because, well, sometimes she thinks this is kind of tedious.
Well, she has some more questions.
Yeah. But she was a quilter before you were, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And she's just very impressed by the level of quilting happening here. Okay. So, let's see. Good, hitting the 6. And did you do this faster than I am?
Yes.
She thinks that she did it faster, gals. I feel like she thinks that I'm slow at this.
No, but I do like that you're getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you make the wrong cut when you're cutting them down, you kind of
Ruined it. You ruined all that hard work, right?
Yes.
I would never want to do that. You worked very hard on this. I watched you. I'm going to take it up to the 7 so I can see my 6 line. Okay. And there we go. And around that line. Okay, voila. So now what we're gonna do is have Mendy tell us what's next.
Well, what I would suggest is that you take your the first 2 in your row,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to pin those together, and you're going to just keep building, and then we can come and do the pressing at the end, because there's enough distance between your 6-inch blocks to make that efficient, Stacy.
Oh, the efficiency.
Yes.
I like it.
And you just need a couple of pins to get started.
Okay.
Now, what I would suggest is this the side of the quilt, or is this the top of the quilt?
I thought would be the side.
Okay, so when you're putting these blocks together, think of it from that perspective. how do you want the block to be arranged when you view it from the side?
Maybe it is the top then. So you're saying just kind of the blocks themselves. How do you want to view these blocks?
Exactly. Some
So
there's
much
not
to
any
think
magic. You know, there's
Yeah.
no magic to that one, no magic to this one. But some of them
That
do
one
have.
could definitely have some magic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, any tips on the way I pin it?
You don't want to pin so that the pin goes out because you have your 1/4 inch guide.
Okay.
So you want to pin farther back in so that you're not sewing over the top of the pin.
Okay. So like right here.
No,
Too
more
far?
like, are you sewing here?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to just be back like here.
So still pin that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
And make sure that you're squaring your block up when you're pinning. Yeah.
let's make sure. This block looks a little bigger than that block. How'd that happen? So if I see that, is that going to be a problem?
It could be. It's as you are putting together your quilt. If you have blocks that have disparaging sizes, your quilt won't go together very smoothly.
Okay.
So you might want to double check your cutting on that one.
I feel like my green was just a little too big.
Okay.
Just a little too long, right?
So now's the time to make that final cut.
Okay.
Now, did you test the yellow against another one to make sure that it wasn't because the yellow was too small?
Well, I was lining it up on the spread.
Okay, that's good.
So, and I feel like bring that down a little bit. So I definitely think it's just really hanging off of this one edge.
Okay.
And there we go. Okay.
Rose, you're not moving on the camera.
I know. But yeah, definitely seems. As opposed to fighting or Okay, so now nobody can hear us. And I'll take a couple of pins over there. Sorry, everyone, we lost a camera. Camera down.
It looks like we'll need to adjust the view of that camera.
Okay. How's that?
Much better.
Okay. All right. Well, this is difficult to see.
Nothing like walking a mile in somebody else's shoes.
Yes. I think you're really enjoying this today.
I kind of am.
Yeah. And okay. You know what? That first one was the only one that wasn't quite right from a size perspective.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so. I guess it was the first one I cut, so I probably wasn't totally on my game. You know, after 8, you really start getting good. Okay, so that's my final one. So then I have, this is the giveaway again, guys. So this is our seam guide. And then in order to do this, we set our scant 1/4 inch, and we set that based on the current needle position. So you know, oftentimes your needle position will change. And so that's why the scant 1/4 inch is so helpful, because you'll go ahead and just place that needle, lift the foot, place the needle through that. And I just use the hand wheel to do that, just to make sure that you're all set. And then once I know what my scant 1/4 inch is with this gauge, then I go ahead and take this guide and just stick it down. So you can kind of see this is being used a little bit, but that's just that double-sided sticky tape. So now I've got it stuck down. It's not underneath the foot, it's just right to the edge of the foot. And then I'm gonna go ahead and lift my needle back up and lift my foot back up, release the gauge. Okay, so as I'm preparing to go ahead and do my seam allowances, what would you recommend my speed be?
Well, I always like it to be probably right in there.
Okay, about half speed.
Yeah, about half speed.
We know I like to go fast, so okay. And
so
so
I would strongly use or urge you to use the stiletto, because you want to maintain the same seam allowance from the very top to the very bottom.
okay. So I've got it right in there. Got it kind of tucked into that. Got my guide down real good, and I've got my fabric just right up against it. So if I were to start, do I do any kind of securing of the thread? Pull my bobbin thread up, anything like that?
No.
Okay. So and so I'm not having to remove my needles because I got them out of the way. But I seem to have gotten stuck here. Is that because it got tucked into the grid glider maybe? No?
Let's see what's going on.
And just kind of got bunched there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and
Here, let's cut the thread. Pull it up. Let's look at the back and see what's going on. I think it would just, I think it was that seam. See how it bunched over?
yeah. Should I go ahead and pull that out?
I think you can probably just get it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Space and,
Okay, kind of move along.
uh-huh.
All right. See, I'm going to encounter every type of issue right here, just so we can cover the topics. So, you know, this guide might be ready for some more sticky tape. Oopsie, no, this is bunching up. Again. Could it be that because it just keeps wanting to get tucked into this grid glider?
Could be.
I feel like,
I haven't been sewing with that grid glider.
oh, you haven't?
No.
I feel like the table isn't quite level. So The goal of
we
your
did move that to work with my other quilt. So
Oh, that's right. Okay, so the goal of the table is to always be perfectly level with your free arm. And so if you feel a dip back here, if you've done much of this, then you'll know that if your table isn't level, then your fabric is going to kind of want to dip with it as it comes through. So, all right, I'm going to get it a little bit higher. I still feel like there's a little dip happening. Right out here. Let's see how that goes. See, that's
we could certainly do with this without the grid glider. We can just put the seam gauge right on the machine.
okay. It could be that the grid glider needs, it needs to be washed. So let's go ahead and just sew through. Okay.
Oh, is the needle down?
Yeah.
Put your foot down.
Do you have another grid glider we can use?
Not right handy. So
Okay. Maybe you can go wash that really quick.
I think you'll be fine with just the table.
It's kind of nice though to have that extra marking, so you can just wash it with like water or something really quick. All right. There we go.
Did that feel better?
Yes. I think it was definitely coming up because that needed to get washed. So I'm just flying through now, ladies. Doing my daisy chaining of my blocks, keeping my seams down as I come through, keeping it against the guide. Okay. And there we go. All right, so we've got them all cut and ready. So I'm going to take out my pens now, and then what do I do next?
Once you take them out over here,
Okay.
and then we'll press. We'll just move the pressing over here where we have well, this camera. Is that totally gone?
Oh yeah. Mhm. I think we can get back into it. I just decided to take a moment and leave. Try again. Okay. Coming back. Okay. Okay. 1/4-inch guide. Yep. So let's see here. All right. So we've got those all daisy chained, and we're going right there. Okay. So we're putting together a mystery sampler quilt. Getting this ready to do some ironing now. So where's my pens? Did you already take them all out?
Yep.
Shh, so on top of it. Okay. So now what am I gonna do?
Take the seam ripper and pull them apart.
Okay. See, we're doing basics here, ladies. Real basic. All right, got it. And then I'm gonna just pen one side, right?
You're gonna press.
Press first. Okay. And do I press on the top or the bottom?
Well, you're making a row, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're just gonna add on to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, however it was, I don't remember now how you had it.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay. So press the seam. You might want to do that from the other side so you know which way you're pressing.
like that. There we go. Oops. Looks like I got a little aggressive on the pressing there. All right. So I thought I would just press this direction the whole time. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I was going to pin these two together. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Okay. And there we go. Can't wait to go get that 6-inch block. I have said things like, I really like efficiency. So,
There are times though that the accuracy and making sure you have the block squared up is better than being efficient.
that's true. Okay. So we've got our pinks there. So far, I'm really loving this. All right. So, I feel like that might be a fun way to end. What do you think? Should we end with the dark or end with the lighter blue?
I kind of like the dark.
I do too. All right, so we're going to do this again, flipping over. And I'm just getting really smart here, guys. So, oops, that wasn't as smart as I thought it was. All right. And I think that my audio is still way over there unless I'm on double audio. Is it echoey?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So we'll do that. And then,
Someone asked why aren't your squares quilted? That's because we've already gone and put together the squares that we quilted during our previous Facebook Lives. And these are the squares that we pieced but did not quilt. And so Stacy's in the process of constructing a quilt top from those squares.
and then the goal is that we'll be quilting that one. We'll create a quilting plan and we'll do that on one of these finish up lives as well, where that'll be like an all over quilt using the weightless quilter or maybe even another amazing option that we might have that we're testing right now. Oh, there's the pens. Maybe a combination thereof.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really excited that we have the opportunity to kind of show both options because a lot of times people will say, you know, how do you do bigger quilts with your home machine? So we're going to show how to do that too. All right.
The iron is called an Aliso Pro iTouch. And I have fallen in love with that iron during the quilting process.
Let's go back to the sewing area.
Okay.
Did you get just that one or we?
I did.
Looking good, girl. All right, so I've got this down. Again, I'm using my seam guide and just gonna do my 2 final ones here. I'm gonna keep my stiletto so I can keep my seams down as we go. Get nice and close to the edge. All right, and final one. Make sure everything's lined up before we sew it together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So there you go. And I managed to lose that shutter thing. Seam ripper.
I think it's right at, we'll just cut it with that.
All right. And take my pins out. Okay. Take my pins out. All right, so we really just have this one section to iron here. And do you think it's best to just kind of come down right on top of a seam like that or come into it?
It kind of depends on how busy the back is,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to disrupt the press job that you've already done.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at each one separately and decide how to approach the most delicate way, I guess.
And there we go. Okay. Oops. This one messed up there. It's easy to mess up all the others when you're doing it.
It is. It's really easy, and you don't want to do that because otherwise, when you're quilting it later, you'll have bumps and things that you don't want to have to deal with.
Okay, so I think we've got some cool options here. So look how the darks ended up close to each other, and these blues ended up close to each other. So we could combine them and have dark in the middle.
But this is okay. So you're making one long row, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
or we could do exactly that and have this on the outside and that on the outside.
I think that might be nice if you did it like this.
And then it's really a nice variety, right?
Correct.
I love that look.
You kind of have it dispersed.
Okay. So we decided to lay it out like this. So we've got a lot of variety and color along the way. And my mom and I talked about it and we thought, well, she's already put together her quilt in the order in which she designed it. So she's got it, her quilt, because she quilted it as she went, she's got it laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. So the block is in order. So on this one, we decided we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to kind of put them into order, like color toning order, because that was the other thing. Since she did it in order, and a lot of times she would use the same color tones at once. A lot of your color toning kind of has patches, right?
But usually only maybe 2.
Yeah.
It's not a big patch. And it's actually kind of, I like the overall flow of it.
Mm-hmm. And okay. So we're going to pin these together like so. And got a nice, really good kind of color variety going on here. All right, so let's go ahead and take it over to the sewing machine for our last seam of the day here. And then I'll have 14 more of these to do before I see you again. And then next week, what are you going to be working on your quilt?
I'm hoping to have all of the columns done and ready for binding.
So you're going to be up to binding next week. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And I might be assembling rows next week. Or assembling columns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. There you go. This is where I want to get the stiletto in there. Make sure everything's nice and lined up. All right. So we'll take it over here and do our final pen removal. And okay. I think I'm going to come at it from this direction. So then, since there's so much less in the world of seams on this side.
I agree.
All right.
All right, your first row.
So row 1 done. 14 more to go. And so we'll look forward to having more rows to start assembling next week. And then Mendy, you'll be binding next week. So we'll see if we can both have a sewing machine going, right?
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right, ladies. Well, don't forget to like, comment, and share as we're going to be giving away the seam guide, gauge, and stiletto combo. I'll post a link to that here momentarily to the saved video, and we'll look forward to announcing a giveaway for that next week. So we'll look forward to seeing everyone as we finish up these quilts. And then any more news on what you're going to be starting next?
I think it's going to be the Cali start.
Okay, excellent. So that will probably start though.
It won't start till March.
Until
because
March.
We're going to take a little hiatus in February.
Okay, so we'll try to get our quilts finished up before then.
Yes.
There you go. I might be quilting in March.
Yeah.
I might be quilting in February.
February.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.